everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. A big, big welcome to you. Welcome to Discover, Join, Dream. This is the live promo for the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. A big welcome to you. So let's dive right into it. Today I'll be highlighting the current membership, what's available, and I'm really looking forward to our time together. If anybody logs on live, we can have some fun exploring some of the opportunities available in the memberships. Otherwise, I'll just show you a little glimpse. If you catch this promo after the fact, please leave in the comments how you relate to anything that I say. I'm always interested in how folks out there are relating. So, first, I want you to think of this experience as a dream. This is my dream scarf. I've got a few of them, and I intentionally wore it because I play a little trick on my mind where I remember instances like this, and then I have these moments where it's like, was that a dream or was that part of my waking life? And that's what I'm all about, dreaming and bridging the dream world with the waking world. So if you want to run and grab your dream scarf, do so, or just imagine that you're wearing one. You could use a pair of earrings. And you see, already I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm really passionate about sharing this exact kind of stuff. So before I continue, let's open up our Witakocha, some sacred space, and I've got a little checklist here to keep me organized. So if you're not familiar with how to open up the Witakocha or sacred space, just follow my lead. Here we go. Inhaling as you go up. And if you know which direction is north, south, east, west, you can face those directions as I'm calling in the winds and also Pachamama, Mother Earth, and the star nations. If you're like me, you can just also use your hand to face the appropriate direction. So let's get busy. South for me is straight ahead, and that's where we start, in the south, in the darkness. Great winds of the south, great serpent, wrap your coils around us. Teach us to shed what we no longer need. All of those life lessons that we've learned, that we've moved beyond, things like guilt and shame that we don't need to carry. All of our alchemy, we're always in a continuous state of learning and shedding. Sometimes we don't want to shed our skins because we just love those skins so dearly, and yet snake energy helps us to remember to embrace our alchemy. We're always in a constant state of shedding. Teach us the beauty way to walk softly with Mother Earth. Aho. To the winds of the west, Jaguar. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jaguar, for walking with us beyond the shadow of death, for those dark, dark places, helping us through the dark night of the soul. Thank you, Jaguar, for allowing us to hold your hand, to ride on your back. But when we get to that rainbow bridge, you honor us. Only we can cross the rainbow bridge, and it can be scary, and you're there with us. Thank you, Jaguar, for helping us with our shadow work, only to realize that we are the shadows. Aho. To the winds of the north, hummingbird. Thank you, hummingbird, for reminding us to only drink the finest nectar, to remember our high quality items. The person we are today are all of our high quality items carried forward. We honor you, those who have come before us and those who will come after us, our children's children. Thank you, thank you, thank you, hummingbird, for reminding us that the only way to develop our wings is to take the flight. Aho. To the winds of the east, eagle condor. Thank you, thank you, thank you, eagle condor, for helping us to gain perspective, to zoom in, to zoom out, to recognize when we need to hang back in the eagle condor's nest. Thank you, eagle condor, for teaching us to fly with you, wingtip to wingtip, and to help us recognize that we can't always be in a state of freedom flying wingtip to wingtip. We need to do our homework, apply our lessons, and that's the power of eagle condor medicine. It's not just having lessons and information, it's applying the knowledge and alchemizing it appropriately, passing it on to the next generation. Thank you, eagle condor. Aho. Mother Earth, Pachamama was gathered here for the honoring of all of your children, the stone people, the plant people, the four-legged, the two-legged, the 100-legged, the no-legged, the finned, the furred, the creepy crawlers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Pachamama, all of our relations, the winged, who come in so many shapes and sizes, all of our relations. Help us to be better stewards of the land. We are living expressions of art in the physical form we take, the earth, the air, the fire, the water. That's you, Pachamama, and you host us here on this beautiful planet Earth. Aho. Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, to the star nations, Great Spirit, thank you, thank you, thank you. You who are known by 1,000 names, and you who are the unnamed one, thank you for bringing us together and for allowing us to sing our song of life. Thank you, star nations, for looking down on us, even looking up on us, because we are scattered throughout this universe and we're all related in some way, shape, or form, our greater oneness that we all belong to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a special thank you to my spirit guides, Polaris, Manus, Toby, the goddesses, all of the child Ginas, age 7 Gina, age 4 Gina, helping me to have better standards and to be in right relationship with myself and be in right relationship with the soul tribe. And that's you, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. Aho. Thank you very much for opening sacred space with me. It's one of my favorite things to do. So before I go on, I wanted to tell you straight up that I know what it's like to think the Akashic records are a permanent record. And it's really hard for me actually to think back to how disempowering my life was and how false inhibiting beliefs just kept bulldozing me. And I learned the hard way that the Akashic records are not a permanent record. And it is your birthright to edit and re edit your story as the master scriber. So you're in charge of writing your story, and there's nobody else out there like you. So nobody could ever possibly write your story, and only you can make those edits. And for what it's worth, We are in a constant state of alchemy. So it absolutely makes sense. Our Akashic records would need to be alchemized over time. So brings me great joy to have these conversations with you because we are a narrative driven species. Stories are our medicine, our mind's demand a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's our logical mind. The creative part of our mind is already sold, and yet both the creative mind and the logical mind constantly weaving together to make sense of the world around us, processing information while using literary devices like metaphors and different um, story structures. For example, in the movies, there's typically one big climax, right? But in life, the climax is always ongoing, and those climaxes vary depending on the storyline. And what I've come to really appreciate about stories is that the actual plot, the details, doesn't even really matter. What matters is that we have a plot because the very plot details, this is where I get hypocritical and duality comes into play. It does matter because without the plot, the storyline, the details, there's absolutely no way we would get to the higher themes. And it's digging into those deeper themes that is what we aspire to do. That's where the heart of any story is. It's the themes that matter, the greater themes. So, um, stories, I'm constantly asserting these days, are our medicine. And as we alchemize through our own conscious evolution, our stories alchemize with us, and we are the authors, the authority of our own unique stories that contribute to the greater collective story, the greater co-dream that we share. That is so profound to me, and I absolutely love talking about it. Stories are our medicine, so when you listen to a story, you receive medicine, and when you share a story, you're sharing medicine. And that's what we call relating and learning and life lessons. Again, all those greater themes that we all belong to. So, if you're interested in conscious evolution and your life not living you, you living your life and taking charge of your alchemy, then it's not a coincidence that you are tuning in with me today because that's what I'm all about. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gina Virginia Casella, spiritual biz entrepreneur, transformational healer. I am the author of the cherished Dragon Dream series, the treasured Dragon Dreams Oracle, and the creator of the one of a kind gemstone reading. And it's me, the one behind the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. Soul Tribe has never been so important to me. I didn't know that was a thing. So, again, it's no coincidence that the greater matrix is bringing us together now. In my old matrix, I had a phenomenal career as a public school teacher. I was the involved type and I advocated for the British Columbia Teachers Federation, always prioritizing and advocating for social emotional learning to be a priority in public education because how you think and feel matters. It matters so much to the point that it can create ailments or inspire healing. And your subconscious mind, it never turns off. So even when you go to sleep at night, those negative thought patterns, they just keep on, belting out those mantras, shooting down your self-esteem. And I really need to assert in this moment that you are enough. Things are available to you, and that you are very much the same as everyone else. A lot of dragons out there feel like there's something wrong with them, like they're just not enough. It doesn't matter what they do. Things, yeah, they're not available to them. There's something wrong or different, like they're not even from this planet. And you know what? That part about not being from this planet, well, that's an interesting one to explore. But despite where your spirit may or may not have been, the biological one, known as Gina, for example, the very pieces of stardust that make up my body are from this planet Earth. So that's a really special acknowledgement to make, and part of our multi-facets aspects of ourselves. And I love getting into those kind of conversations. And so that's my mission. It's to assert that the power is in your hand, the pen is in your hand, and that you really can change your thinking to change your life. And I'm living, walking proof of that. So, this business of not being enough, things not being available to you, feeling like there's something wrong or different about you, unfortunately, a lot of us, especially dragons, we just don't hear these statements enough or at all. And that's what I'm talking about, folks, because mental health matters. You matter. You really matter. You fucking matter. And it's just so heartbreaking the number of us out there who um, we don't feel that way at all. I can make these statements all day long, and then it's like this 3D reality around us just completely bulldozes those statements. And that's why it's important to be in right relationship with Soul Tribe, so that you're being uplifted by the community and epigenetics around you, because the only thing you really can control is yourself. And it all starts with self regulation, the 4 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, self-regulation. And like I said, that that's all prioritizing social emotional learning in public education, at home, and for me, in my spiritual business. That's the high quality lessons I'm carrying forward. So I like to prioritize our narrative driven species, because emotions, emotional literacy throughout history is something that constantly is being denied. Not just literacy, but emotional literacy. It's tied into all kinds of things. There's political literacy, but basically, if we don't share the knowledge, then we're not sharing the power. So we need to share emotional literacy. We need to share the power so we can empower others and emancipate others out there to be the phenomenal, stunning individuals they are, always were, and always will be. No more confusion, no more life living you living your life. I'm really passionate about it. One of my favorite things to do is to read to others, and it's been such a thrill reading my own self published content. If you're interested in the memberships, check out Buy Me a Coffee. I've got the links in the description. And now I'm going to actually just walk you through um, some of the highlights from each one. And I've got my resources here just to have some fun doing examples. So, first, I want to let folks out there know that I'm offering private sessions called Distinguishing Dialogue. So, who do you talk to about this kind of stuff, right? um, I was in a past life, I was a goldfish dancing on land. I was persecuted and I was left out in the sun to dehydrate. Folks were hopeful I would give secret information, but I really didn't know any secret information. Um, so there's another story where I was a praying mantis, and as per protocol, when we get captured, our arms are removed. Um, and so there's other stories about me, but it relates to this waking life because I was the girl with the hairy arms growing up. I still have hairy arms. I just shave it. Would like to get hair electrolysis, but the point is, my arms have always bothered me. I always felt like they were ugly and I felt ashamed and I felt like I was diseased because of it. And then in my adult years, um, when I get my menstrual cycle or depending on the weather, my arms, oh my God, the stress, it's just like so honestly, like it just comes in waves and I don't know if I'm going to pass out or throw up. And I learned through my own regression that it's linked to these past lives. So now that I know that, I can work with that. And having a distinguishing dialogue is something that was really lacking in my life. And I'm really humbled and honored to offer that to folks out there who need somebody just to talk to about such things like um, being persecuted in another past life. I was this super soldier robot. I'm still figuring it out. I actually think I'm some kind of water cloud, and then I um, go into things like lamps and vacuum cleaners. And I learned that, oh, some things I can utilize more than others, like the broomstick, can't do much with that, but it's nice to observe. And then I take on these forms like super soldier robots. And again, who do you have conversations like this? And I've always had interesting experiences, um, spiritual experiences, interesting dreams. And there are some experiences that really scared me. And so I really want to emphasize that folks have been telling me things my whole life. And I'm not sure anything's going to sound weird to me anymore. Some things, though, they do sound concerning. And that's where I'm at. I believe you. I really believe that you believe whatever it is you tell me. I believe you when you tell me that you're part vampire. I believe you when you tell me that there was some kind of ET kidnapping situation that went on. I believe you. So you can count on me to listen to what you have to say without any judgment. I'm very open to it. And like I said, my whole life, folks have been telling me things. Hi, Jason. I see you're in the chat. Welcome to the promo. Actually, your timing's really well because I'm just going over some of the highlights from the memberships. So, a final thought about distinguishing dialogue. I use whatever language you use. So if you're saying angels, I say angels. If you say ETs, then I'll say ETs. I'm not going to have a debate with you about what means what. I get what you're saying. And that's all part of the importance of having a dialogue is us having a common language. Now, I myself, if you've been reading my books, you can see through my own spiritual awakening, I'm going through my own learning cycles. I was using the word form and formless because I wanted to move away from using ghosties or spirits, and I wasn't sure how to distinguish if somebody was deceased. And then form and formless actually doesn't even really distinguish anything because I learned interestingly, how do you know something is form or formless? Okay, well, if it's visible or invisible, that means it's form or formless. Like just because I can't see something doesn't mean you can't. So farm or farm less can be completely based on perspective. And so I use the language folks a lot these days because folks, it's a gender neutral term and it's also species neutral. And that's interesting. We spend a lot of time talking about identity, and it's like, well, we get into interesting conversations about different kinds of Homo sapiens sapiens, if you will. And folks. And if folks doesn't work for you, I'm open to using fuckers, and that's something that I joke around about my books, um, because folks, fuckers, you know what, gender neutral, species neutral, and it's nice to have some laughs. They do drop the F word a lot, the F bomb, but you'll never hear me use the Lord's name in vain or swearing at people, and that's part of an ongoing dialogue I have with my spirit guides because um, I'm like this little girl portrayed in my books, and they're always like swearing, but they tell me like it's part of communication. So I'm learning there's culture in the world of the folks and fuckers, and we're part of that world too. So like I said, I don't think there's anything that can really surprise me anymore. The supernatural is very natural. The paranormal is very normal. We shouldn't be freaked out about it like we are, right? Like when two angels came out of my wall, that really freaked me out. It shouldn't have freaked me out like that. It should have been like a natural, normal experience. There's much to say about that, but I would like to move on now to the three memberships in particular. So, got my notes here to help me keep on track. Tillers of the multidimensional. So, what's that about? So, as a tiller of the multidimensional, you're one of those folks that when you're sleeping at night, whether you're conscious of it or not, you go places. And places even come to you. So you pick up things just like when you go on an adventure or a walk in the bush, there's pieces of whatever that stick to your clothing, your shoes get mud on it, whatever. But the thing is there's these ghosties, if you will, parasites that can become toxic and weigh you down. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. Here's another interesting factor. I've had a lot of conversations with folks out there who feel like they're possessed or like there's something in their bedroom or like their doll is haunted. There's weird stuff going on. That very well could be because there's some kind of ghosty. I use that language a lot, ghosty. There's some kind of ghosty who is trying to connect with you because they're trying to communicate something to you. So it's worth investigating. Don't be scared of that. Investigate it. But if it's something that's genuinely bothering you and scaring you, you don't feel safe, you've asked the ghostie to leave, you've done things like leave a little offering, a piece of cake, a little piece of chocolate, whatever it is, um, that ghostie knows about me. And I was freaked out a little bit at first, but now I'm okay with it. I'm very comfortable with it. There's folks out there that know about me and they're trying to find me. And this is a very healthy thing. I've been calling them in, pulling in the soul tribe. So some of those spirits, ghosties that are haunting you, it's because you are the one that's going to get them to have access to me. They're part of the soul tribe. And because they're in whatever form they're in, I don't have like direct access to them, but you do. So they're like knocking on your door, if you will, metaphorically saying, hey, you know that girl, Gina Virginia Casella, Dragon Dreams? Yeah, well, you need to get in on that. You need to get in on Tillers of the Multidimensional because I need to get to the sanctuary of the Pine Tree Forest. That's what they need. And there's a lot to be said about these souls, if you will. And I can talk more about that on a different time. But that's why they're there. They need you to go through the guided journey because when I do it with you, like as a collective, we go together to the pine tree forest and we bring them with us. And then once we're at the pine tree forest, we meet the dog monkey folk. We have a nice time with them. There's a buddy system. So you go off with your buddy system, and the ghostie that came with you, they too have a buddy system. And it's a great place of healing. We say goodbye to them. When we leave, they stay. The pine tree forest is a sanctuary. I'm not going to worry about sounding weird with the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. There's folks out there who don't feel comfortable going to the light. We come from the darkness. When we die, why are we not going to the darkness? Why are we going to the light? There are folks out there who, for all kinds of reasons, are not safe, and or they are feeling lost, or they're in hiding. They don't know who to trust. So again, that's why they're in search of me. It's an energy signature that I have. It's like a smell. I have the scent. They smell me, and so that's why growing up, I used to be afraid of the ghosties because they knew it's me, right? So I know what it's like to be freaked out by the ghosties. So tillers of the earth, this is for you if you're feeling those feelings like I was talking about. Also, in a very healthy, positive way, um, you could join this membership and each month, just as a standard, invite any ghosties in your neighborhood to come on over and join. And this just becomes like a standard routine to help build the bridge and the strength. And it's one of the beauties of online memberships because now we're more scattered. We literally are networking. We're spider webbing ourselves out. So I'm very passionate about this one, and I'm very passionate about the dog monkey folk as well, because they used to freak me out as well. And then one day I called to them, and the dog monkey folk are like an entire ecosystem of dragons, all the different shapes and sizes. And you can read more about them in my book. So basically, that's what this membership is, Tillers of the Multidimensional. And you do things by like opening portals, whether you're conscious of it or not. So, part of this guided journey is to seal the space in and around us. And then we seal the space north, south, east, west in your physical environment. And we do it every month. That way it's reinforcing, reinforcing. And if there's any new members who join, then they get a dose of it as well. So every time I do it like it's the first time over and over again. And each time it's really special because you develop and further your relationship with the dog monkey folk. Now, what's nice about all of these memberships is they include a bonus. So, bonus number one for Tillers of the Earth, Tillers of the Multidimensional. I almost called it Tillers of the Earth, but I'm like, no, we are multidimensional Earth. So, um, bonus number one is raw resonance. So what's that? I had a severe panic attack back in 2021. Um, it changed me forever. Something that really hit my confidence hard and just emotionally hit me hard was my voice changed. I was a public school teacher. I made speeches. I never needed a microphone. I would be in the gym. I'd be outdoor with the kids. Again, never needed a microphone. Now, you know what? I would need a microphone if I was in a classroom, and I don't like that. And when I first had the severe panic attack, there's a lot to be said about it, but for the first time in my life, I just couldn't believe, um, my voice, and my voice chakra, and, I just felt feelings of injustice and like I was shut down. Um, so it takes a lot to, smite me, I think is the language. And if I've ever had anything, it was my energy level and my voice. So I'm really passionate about what I do. And it just burns me inside to think for a second that there's other folks out there who are experiencing it. And I want you to know that there is a way. And this very much is a way. So I would wake up in the morning, and the first thing I would do is cry because I didn't realize the first thing I would do is I would start talking. I would start talking to my cats. So when I had my severe panic attack, I would start talking to them and realize like I don't even have a voice, and it's hard. So I started with good old CDEFGAB, AEIOU, long vowels, short vowels, and I would sing out my name. And I did that for probably, oh geez, like 8 months to a year. And it really helped strengthen my voice. It just gave me a focus. It had nothing to do with me developing my vocal cords so that I could be the next American Idol or anything like that. That's not what this is. This is literally just breathing out, and when you exhale, you can make any sound you want, but it's interesting to choose a vowel, because when you're saying vowels or words or mantras, the inside of your muscles and whatnot work with that energy. We're just keeping it basic with this, but it means, for example, breathing in, and when you exhale, uh, you say A, long Amy, um, ace. Apple is the short, apple, apricot. So let's just do it now. We'll do long A. So you should breathe in, and then when you exhale, you just go A, and whatever sound. So here we go. Hey, until the very last breath. And you know what? It sounds different every time. It's just the zombie part of our biology. Like if I was dead right now and I had some breath in me and someone moved my body around, I'd be like, I would make those weird zombie noises, right? So really, um, it's raw resonance for that reason. Our raw primordial, before there was language, we just made noises. Uh, so it's honoring breath, the breath of life. When you're born, that's the first thing you do is you breathe. When you die, that's the last thing you do. Just to change up raw resonance, we will also get into some breathing rhythms, just a little bit of like reversed breathing and normal breathing. So we're not going to rush through any of this. I'll probably do normal breathing and reversed breathing for like 3 or 4 months, and maybe we'll continue that on. This is like a martial arts. It's something you develop over time. It's not something that you just take and now that's who you are. So everything I'm talking about has to do with tillers of the multidimensional. There's also an exclusive bonus number two, and that is to be a guest as a collective, the folks who are in this group, on Typical Skeptic podcast, and that's scheduled for Thursday, June 12th. So that's right around the corner in honor of the summer solstice and your own personal reflection. So you can go on the Typical Skeptic podcast and let folks know how you're benefiting from my program, realizations that you're making, whatever you want to share out, you're welcome to do that. So there's the other membership, there's three. The second one is New Moon Wisdom Weavers, Dreaming with Gemstone Gina, Collective New Moon reading. So let me just tilt my camera here. A lot of you are already familiar with this. I like to beat the drum of reduce, reuse, recycle. Everything is like camping. So what am I talking about when I say dreaming with gemstone Gina? I know you can't see my face right now. That's okay. What I do with dreaming with gemstone Gina is every new moon, I scatter my gemstones. I say special words and I make a circle. I do interesting things. And then depending on where the gemstones fall, I share insight. And these gemstones were gifted to me by the Gnome King. So after I provide my incense, 2 cents, I should say, I pull a card from the Dragon Dreams Oracle, and the card always has to like, it's not a coincidence. It always like relates to the gemstone reading nicely. And I feel really good in this moment about pulling this card. It was just really random, but this card actually I was using this as a logo when I was providing free content, and this is a free promotion, and I just thought it was, special to me in this moment. It wasn't a coincidence that I got lucky. Lucky, that's his name. And you can bet Lucky's gonna be on hoodies that I'm gonna sell. Swag is coming very soon. I'm really excited. So, if you join this membership, the New Moon Wisdom Weavers, every new moon we get together as a collective, and I do this, and then it's um, going to be hosted over Zoom, so we can share out insight. I'm always on board for connecting. And the bonus for New Moon Wisdom Weavers is you're going to get daily, almost daily, a mini gemstone reading from yours truly. And so um, I just love doing these, and I've been getting lots of positive feedback. My gemstone readings are a one of a kind creation. I feel really good about them. It's an invention of my own making. There's lots of folks out there who read crystals and gemstones and whatnot, but this routine, this is my little special thing that I offer, and it just comes very easy, naturally to me. And at some point, I do look forward to offering lessons and teachings how to create such a divinational practice. It started off as something I did for myself, and now it's available to the public. So there's another one, the final membership. We're almost done here. But before I get into that, let me just get these gemstones out of the way. Okay, so the final membership is called Full Moon Dragon Illuminous. So we're going to meet, if you join this membership, we're going to meet before the full moon. I always like to meet before the full moon or before the new moon. That way you have some time to do some thinking and whatnot, reflective practice. So we're going to meet before the full moon, and we're going to just focus on these cards, the Dragon Dreams Oracle. So the way it works is you would pick one card. So choose right here, right now, one, two, or three, whatever came to your mind first. And I'm just gonna pull one. It's lucky again. Two and three. So during the membership, I make it a point to say special words and whatnot. This is just a little quickie here. So I would pull three cards. If you said, oh, card number one, then this card is the special card that applies to you. All three of these cards apply to you. They apply to the collective. It's targeted for the full moon. So whatever you're illuminating, I like to work with the moon cycles. But if you chose card one, that's like extra special for you. If you chose card two, it's extra special for you. And card three, it's extra special for you. And you know what? These cards are not a coincidence. Just for funsies here in this moment, like I was saying, lucky is about luck. It's about um, getting you unstuck. Like destiny is not set in stone, and Lucky, he breaks chains all the time. There's lots to say about Lucky, and so oh, and I know I forgot to mention something. It is in my notes. I would have mentioned it at the end, but I should have mentioned it earlier if I didn't already. The whole entire month of April is free, right? And Lucky represents my free content. So there you go. Lucky is reminding me, don't forget to tell folks about the month of April, at least 2025. 2025 is a free month. So make sure you get in on it. In my Facebook group, Dragon Dreams, there's a free resource. Check it out in the files section, and it's about bridging your world. And this is what this is about. It's reminding us. So, for example, my bedroom is my mastermind. So when I need to do some serious like journaling, I'm sure to do that in my bedroom. Nanis, I pretend and imagine that he lives in my living room, which is my library. So when I want to connect with Manus about my Akashic record, I go to the living room, the library to do that. So I multi-dimensional up on my space. And this one here is about Greg Braden talks about brain heart harmony, and I'm always adding in the gut, brain gut heart harmony. Someday I look forward to having a conversation about Greg Braden with Greg Braden to see what he has to say about that. I imagine us having some little giggles about it. So this one here with the Dragon Dreams Oracle, that is the Dragon's Illuminus. And what is the bonus for that one? Well, it's one of my favorite things to do, and that's to read to others. So right now I'm going to read I Don't Know What, because it is about synchronicity, but I know it's going to be from book 3. And I'm just going to stick with book 3 for a little bit, and then I'll change it to book 4, and then I'll go to book 5. So what I might do is I might get folks in the membership to vote on a page. You can recommend a page. Maybe there's something special you really, really want me to read. Other than that, I might just go this page here, and I will read live in the membership. Anywhere from a passage to a few pages, maybe depending on time, an entire chapter. So, for example, I'll just read page 47. This is from Dragon Dreams Book 3, Losing Ground. So for the bonus, we would meet, I would read to you, then you get some time to journal, and then we share out, and it's over. All right, so if you're following along from home, it's page 47. The teacher in me, I don't know, I feel like going like this so you can read along. When I read to others, I have a good habit, I feel, of turning the page, and I'll be like, "Top of 70," and then I'll keep reading a few more pages, and then I'll be like, "And now we're on the bottom of page 75." All right, so this is the top of page 47. I returned the woman's body to her community so they could properly honor her. But my efforts seemed to cause much fear and discomfort among the community members. I was blamed for her death and for the missing men who were never found. It troubled me how much the missing men were mourned. Many believed I wanted them to stay out of the forest or they would face death, like the 3 men and this woman. One day, some men abducted a woman, taking her deep into the forest. She was still alive. After already abusing her, they mocked her, joking about throwing her off the cliff so they would not get bloodstained. They also laughed because in the past, they would kill the woman and then they would have to carry the heavy body. But in this case, she would walk and then it was easy to push her off the cliff. Maybe they would even make her jump off. Perhaps tie her up and toss her into the water. I gave the men a chance to abandon their malicious intent. But when they moved in to attack the woman, I intervened to protect her. Realizing that violence would not solve the deeper issue of disrespect toward women, I chose at that moment to take an eye off each man instead of killing them. The men returned to their community and spread exaggerated rumors that painted me as the villain and them as the hero. The woman told the truth and was called a liar by almost everyone. And this story comes from the lizard lady, and it's hard for me not to go on, and it's hard for me not to go, wait a minute, let me go back to the beginning of the story. But the point is, I'm working with the energy and the Soul Tribe Collective. So whatever page I turn to, I feel is the page that we need to land on. And if I feel compelled to start at the beginning of the chapter, then I will. And If anybody is watching this, if you wanted to share comments about how that passage made you think or feel, even in 10 years from now, if you're watching this, let me know. I love learning about that. So that's pretty much a wrap. So just to reiterate, each membership has a bonus, two bonuses, and um, one bonus they all share is you have the opportunity to go on Typical Skeptic podcast. It's hosted by Robert Khalil. And if you're not familiar with the Typical Skeptic podcast, it's basically folks just like us who have these kind of stories. So it's also the host, Rob, and I bridging our own soul tribes because he's part of my soul tribe, I'm part of his soul tribe. And if you're a host out there and you want me to come on your show to do something like a gemstone mini readings, or if you're open to perhaps um, folks in my memberships coming on your shows to share their stories, please reach out because that's what it's all about. It's all about community. So let me just get my notes here because that's pretty much it. I think it's just time for me to reiterate, take some Q's and A's, and close up some sacred space. So, um, this is all on Buy Me a Coffee, all of the dates and times. I created a video to show you where to click. There is only push energy that I don't even know anymore because here in the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, it is only pull energy. So if you're feeling the pull, your spidey senses are tingling, you're interested in me and in my content, I lovingly invite you to go with the flow. Check out Buy Me a Coffee. So just to recap, Tillers of the Multidimensional, that's the one where you get the protection and clearing, you guided journey to the Pine Tree Forest, and your exclusive bonus is what is your exclusive bonus? I'm having a brain fart right now. And I like to be authentic, so your monthly bonus is, of course, raw resonance. So making those noises, sounds, helping your voice chakra. And of course, you get to go on Typical Skeptic. There's a designated date. New Moon Wisdom Weavers, that's the one where I do the gemstone reading. We meet once before the new moon, do it as a collective. And then the bonus for that membership is the mini gemstone readings. You get them daily, almost daily. You can't go wrong. I love doing it. I do it for me. So I thought, why don't I just share it with everybody else? And your other bonus is again going on Typical Skeptic. It's a different date from the other group. And then finally, there is the full moon Dragon Illuminous, where we meet before the full moon, and you get to pick one card from the three cards that I pull. And the bonus for that one, me reading stories and having some journaling time. Please don't forget, you can also book your private Distinguishing Dialogue. It's really special. And I want to tell you, dragons, that each session of the Distinguishing Dialogue is one of a kind. You can express yourself freely to me without any judgment. It's a really meaningful exchange, and it's perfectly normal, even anticipated, for dragons to have crying spells, to have laughing spells, to go through the motions where you feel really hyper and then you're like down. And the reason for that is because it's not familiar to you to just share, to freely speak your mind. And it's upsetting in those moments that you're finally doing it, you're sharing your story. And so this behavior stems from your own unawareness of how powerful it is to express yourself freely and again without judgment, and not just in anyone's presence but in the presence of someone exactly like myself, someone who gets your drift and understands what you're saying. And for what it's worth, if talking isn't your thing, I've had folks out there just say to me, can I play the guitar for you? You wanna pay me money so that I listen to you play the guitar because playing the guitar is, like, how you talk? Yeah, I am absolutely open to that. If you want to dance for me, as long as you're doing something that's safe, hey, I'm open to it. I've had conversations with folks who don't even speak the same language as me, and somehow we're always gaining ground and understanding. And that's why it's called distinguishing dialogue because it's quite distinguished. And for what it's worth, if you want to book a private with me and you want to spend the whole private just doing your own private gemstone reading, or maybe you want to do a private full moon dragon illuminous or a private protection and clearing, or maybe you just want to run your business plans by me, you just let me know at the beginning of your session. And I'm open to that. So I'm here for you. And if anybody has any questions, just put them in the comments. I don't see any at this time. I'll be doing this promotion once a month, not in so much detail. It'll just be more of a run through demonstration. So let's do some fire ceremony, close sacred space. I'll thank you, wish you well, and that'll be a wrap. So if you don't have a candle, I've got one here on your behalf. Anything I do is on the behalf of the collective. And also, if you don't have a stick or anything, it's fine. You use the imagination. I know myself, when Rosie and we moved out of province, I just, it wasn't realistic for me to have candles and whatnot handy. So I was just using my hand, and I would open it and do this to represent the fire, and then I would bring it to my heart. So you let me know, and that's all part of the spiritual autonomy that I've really come to appreciate. So um, something that I want to express gratitude for is the inner child, inner children, because if it wasn't for all of the past Ginas in this life and in my other lives and alternative lives, and if it wasn't for them and everything that they've been through, and I mean everything, that I simply wouldn't be the person I am today. And I feel really proud of myself, and I feel hopeful, and I feel intelligent. And it just rips me up inside because I haven't always been able to say those things. And I'm beyond grateful to say those things today. And my prayer is you too can say those things. There we go, right till the last glow. Let me know in the comments if you use a tin can like myself or if you put it into water. There's lots of different ways to do fire ceremony. And some folks out there, they don't do fire ceremony, they do water ceremony or mud ceremony. or crumble up ceremony. So let me know what works for you. That's all part of our coming together and the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. We're going to close our sacred space. If you're not familiar with that, you just follow my lead. So we're going to go out, up, and in. Here we go. Breathing in as you go up. Thank you, snake, jaguar, hummingbird, eagle, condor. Thank you, Pachamama and Star Nations, and to all my spirit guides for pulling in the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, for bringing us that much more closer together, our story species, our story medicine, and for this opportunity for me to do my promotion. And I'm very much looking forward to the memberships and to spiritual autonomy with others. Thank you. So, in conclusion, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for dreaming with me. Keep dreaming. Keep being the stunning individual you are, always were, always will be. You are enough. Things are available to you, and you are the same as everyone else. And the loneliest lone wolf still requires community. And this community, the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective, is just for us. There's all kinds of dragons out there. Some have wings, some don't. Some are four legged, some have tails. They don't have legs. Some of them look like worms. I wonder what kind of dragon folk form you're taking on. And you really matter. I really mean that. You fucking matter. And it's important that you hear that and know it and believe it with absolute conviction and certainty. My name is Gina Virginia Casella, spiritual biz entrepreneur and transformational healer. You can learn all about me on my website, ginavirginiacasella.com. I would love for you to join my Facebook group. It's free, the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. Make sure you check out the file section for those free resources. And I would adore if you joined one of my memberships on Buy Me a Coffee. All right. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Keep dreaming. Dare to dream. Bye for now.